There we go. Hello. Hi, Katrina. Hello, my name is Lise Colucci, and I am one of the life coaches at queenbeing.com, where we help you to discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. And hello. I think this camera is at a weird spot. I'm just going to move it. There we go. I can't check it beforehand. Anyway, hey, so today let's talk about going no contact with a narcissist. And we're just going to let this do its thing for a second. Hello, Missy Joy. Who else is in here with me? I see a bunch of you are here today. And also anything no contact related, just start putting it in the chat and I will start reading it and we'll get going, because I know a lot of people get really stuck here with the no contact thing, and a lot of people have a lot of difficulty going no contact, maintaining no contact, and all of that goes with it. So let's talk about that. You're welcome for coming on. Hello, Belle, and hello, Patrice. Hey, Phoenix. Okay, still doing. There we go. Here we are. Okay, so no contact. Go and no contact. What is it? Like, what is no contact? Is no contact just like not talking to them? No. No contact is as if they don't exist. Okay? No contact is it's physical no contact. Physically do not see them. Physically do not write them. Do not email them. Do not text them. Do not call them. No social media. Goodbye. No photos, no mementos, no reminders. Keep your home and everything around you, your surroundings, free of the narcissist as best as you can, right? Don't talk about them to friends unless it's I'm not talking about don't talk about what you need to talk about within the relationship, but don't try to get into the narcissist's life. What are they doing? Who are they with? All of that stuff. If you need to talk about your own personal experience that you had dealing with the abuse, that's a totally different situation. But dealing with the narcissist themselves and what they are doing from this moment forward is a form of contact. Okay. And that can change also if you've got a smear campaign. We'll talk about other things going on. If you have things where you need to keep some tabs to keep safety, that's a totally different situation. I'm talking about when you can. Okay. All of these are when you can. We can't always go no contact. But ideally, this is what we do, right? Ideally, they are no longer in our life. So the hardest part of all of this is getting them out of your own thoughts. Getting them out of your own thoughts is when you can break that, when they're no longer permeating every thought you have, when they're no longer walking around with you all day long in your own head. That's when you can really break the no contact, when you can really realize you're in a state of no contact, right? Okay. So I'm going to read some of this and then we'll talk more about it. I'm just going to read and go back and forth here today. Hello, Danielle and Jack. Let's see. You're making contact, different kind of contact. You're making good contact, right? Phoenix is asking, what's the difference between no contact and discard? No contact is literally not having any contact with a person as if they do not exist. So the discard is the act of them no longer being with you, right? Of them pushing you out of their life. They will still maintain contact. They'll still try. The Hoovers come, right? We know this. So you're welcome. Hi, Angela. And Bella's asking, this is a topic that I believe is a couple of years away from me. It's okay. Even if this is in your future or you don't ever see it if you can't ever see it being a future, you know what I mean? Even if you can't go no contact, there's bits of information that you can apply to your own life, right? And apply it as it works for you. This is the ideal. The ideal is that you don't have a narcissist in your life, right? That's the ideal. And the reason is the trauma bonding. You can be as strong as you are. We are super strong. You can know everything you need to know. You can have all your ducks in a row and your emotions in check, and the trauma bonds still pull, because it's the nature of the relationship with that person. And the only way to change that is to completely change the dynamic of the relationship to that person. But you can't with a narcissist, because they maintain the mask and the power and the control, because that's what they do, right? Because there's no real relationship. So the no contact is basically saying, I don't want this toxic thing in my life, and moving forward. If you can't do it, you can't do it. If you have to go low contact, that's another topic, right? So, but today I'm talking about no contact because it was coming from a question that someone had asking about no contact. I'm just going to read a bit of what was asked so that you know where I'm coming from. And again, if you can't go no contact, then you can't, right? And that's low contact, and take what you can from what I'm saying and from what other people say about no contact and apply it as you can. And then we can talk about low contact either later, after, or on another live stream, because that's a whole different way of coping, because then you're coping, right? No contact is breaking as best you can all ties, right? All right. I recently heard another term regarding having a narcissistic parent called breaking away. I like it. I like that too. It is breaking away, right? One thing I don't like is how some try to police another's state or level of activity, being no contact or not. What do you mean, Patrice? I'm not following, because sometimes the written is harder to follow from my brain. Low contact with extremely cruel mother and losing father. Now my children are discarding me. Oh, yeah. Okay. She's always prodding and poking on the dating site. Yep. Bringing different people and watching or contacting. It's a bloody pain. That's right. Because they hoover, and it's really, see, we do our best to maintain no contact, right? And they will do their best to hoover and get attention. So it can be difficult. This part of the narcissistic cycle scares me. It really does. Why does it scare you? Let's talk about that, because this is kind of where the question was coming from, Belle. But like any ending, I know it will be happier and healthier. What does it scare you, for you right now, when with your own, if you don't mind sharing? If you do, then don't, obviously. My mother sent a gift and I sent it back. Someone said I broke no contact. Oh, please. No, you didn't. You know what? Return to sender. It, in a sense, can be a breaking of no contact, I suppose. But it's also, I don't want you, it's just sending it back. I don't see how that's, well, it's no one's business to police it unless you, okay, here's the difference, Patrice. If that affected you in a way where you could not stop thinking about your mother for the rest of the week, then you probably broke no contact. If it affected you for a little while because she sent a gift and you have to think about her, that's different. If the act of you sending it back gave you a pull toward her, then it matters. It doesn't really matter otherwise, right? What you choose to do is what you choose to do. And it's okay. Here's the thing. It's a rule we set for ourselves, this no contact. It's to protect us. Let's talk about why we go no contact first, okay? So no contact is not for it's not a game we're playing with a narcissist. It is not a game we're playing with ourselves, all right? It is to protect ourselves from the pull of the trauma bonds. It is to protect ourselves from further abuse by a narcissistic person. And it is a boundary we're setting, which is a difficult thing for people who have been through narcissistic abuse to even have boundaries. Okay, so it is effort. It's a challenge, but it's meant to protect you. It's not about the narcissist. So it really doesn't matter if you give them supply now and then and it happens and you break it. So what, right? The point is you go back to the no contact, even if you did break it. Even if that was, who cares? Just keep going. Because this isn't like emotional prison, right? We're not like locking ourselves in. Things happen and there's a flow and things happen and you don't know how to respond in a moment. And if it feels right in the moment to return it, then return it. And if it doesn't, then don't. Ask yourself why you're doing it. I'm sure in your case, you probably felt that was more of a no contact than, because if you take it, I mean, honestly, okay, let's look at it this way. Either way, it's breaking no contact because her hoover was the direct physical hoover. Either way, but that's not your fault, because if you don't send it back, she gets supply knowing you received the gift. If you do send it back, she gets supply knowing you return the gift. There is no win in that situation for the no contact, in my opinion. But that's not because you broke no contact. It's just because there's no win to that situation. And so you do what you want to do, right? Is that making sense? I think. I don't know. Let's see. It was scary for me too, says Patrice. It is scary. It's really scary. And I'll read what somebody said in just a second. How is what I'm doing, low, no contact, not called discard? Because you are protecting yourself, Phoenix. You're not doing this to hurt another person, and you're not doing it to manipulate them into some sort of supply gaining. You're doing it to protect yourself. The discard and the no contact are the same thing. The intent is different. Does that make sense? Just like gray rock and silent treatment can look exactly the same. They really can, but you're not giving someone the silent treatment because your intent is not to have power over that person. When you're giving this, when you're gray rocking, your intent is to maintain power and control over yourself. There's the difference. Your intent with no contact is to maintain power and control of your own life. If you were discarding, it would be to control the situation, right? Does that make sense? And in a sense, you're kind of controlling the situation too, but your intent isn't to hurt that other person. It is, and in fact, that can be a hard one. Let me read what somebody asked because it relates to this. They asked about, let's see, about going no contact. I didn't write it out real well here. About going no contact and how they feel like they're doing something wrong and hurting the other person. Like it's a wrong thing to just not talk to someone. Like it is not fair to the other person to just disappear and to not speak to them or to completely cut someone out of your life. That feels very almost like you're doing something against someone that you love, right? Because you do love them regardless of whether they're a horrible person to you or not, right? And most of the time, sometimes you don't, and then no contact's a lot easier. But when you're trauma bonded in particular, it can really feel like you're doing something to hurt that person, because if they did it to you, it would hurt. If when they go silent, it's painful, right? And it probably does hurt them. It hurts them in their pride and in their ego for sure, right? But here's the thing. We have this empathy, right? And it makes us feel like we're doing something cruel and unusual to someone by going no contact sometimes. Sometimes that can kind of be similar to what you're talking about, how it feels like you're discarding someone. But the difference is it's a self-protection mode to keep something dangerous away from you. It's not self-protection mode to keep emotion from flowing, okay? They do it out of self-protection too, because they need to protect their ego and their mask. That's why they discard. That's why they go silent, right? But this is to protect yourself from somebody harming you, not from normal, natural, healthy emotions that are being interchanged. That's the narcissist is hiding from accountability and emotional exchange. We are deflecting and keeping out negativity from another person. Does that make sense? Is the difference making sense? I can't tell because I'm talking and I don't know. You're not actually looking at me, so I can't tell. Okay, hopefully that does. So they also said that it feels like part of them, the person that asked this said that part of them feels like guilty or ashamed or guilty or like it's wrong because we have this secret club, right? We have support groups and stuff where we talk about this stuff and we sort of plot and decide what we're going to do with our lives within these little secret clubs, so to speak. And it is going against somebody else who's not inside that club, right? You can see how it would feel like that. It could feel completely like you're betraying the person that you are supposed to be loyal to. And going no contact can feel like a betrayal too. So we have to look at it for what it is that it's a protection for your life. This isn't an intentional betrayal. You have to break the bonds with a narcissistic person. The bonds are unhealthy and they're toxic. And what you're protecting within that relationship is not a healthy relationship, and it's not a healthy way of living for you. So what you're protecting is the narcissist. You're not protecting yourself, right? And we need the support groups for the support in order to have the strength to do this phenomenal thing called no contact, because it's really hard. No one wants to do it. It's scary. It's terrifying. You're alone at the end of it. It is not easy, okay? It is not easy. Sometimes it can be really easy and then it's not easy later. Sometimes it can, for some people it actually is easy, but for the most part, it's not, or we wouldn't have to have videos about it, right? We would all be like, yeah, let's do it. Uh-oh, the dogs are going to bark. Oh, hey. So I say, guys, shh, for 1 hour. So they're running. Hey, dog, shh, sorry. Okay, nope. And I could just put them in another room, but then I can't see them. Anyway, okay. Self-preservation, correct. Sending the gift back, I think, is a good message to say, here's my boundary, leave me alone. I believe that too. I think Patrice is good with boundaries, and she is learning to place them very well. So I think that in that case, it's a good thing. Hey, enough. Hey, sorry. 7 weeks, no contact, no clue if she's tried, as she's blocked. Yep, who cares, right? Excellent on the 7 weeks. It's hard work. It's good though. Are you feeling any less, hey, stop it. Shh. Are you feeling any less pulled to the trauma bonds with those 7 weeks? I'm wondering. Okay, so Belle is saying the change scares me. The change scares me. Ooh, that was what I wanted to talk about today too, is change. So thank you for bringing that up. I have difficulty with change of any sort. Plus, with this, it is the final admission that I wasn't enough. Ooh, wait a minute. Let's talk about that, honey, because you are enough. It is not. What it is saying is that the narcissist is not good for your life. Okay? I know it's untrue, but it feels like I failed a childhood trauma. I totally get it. Here's the thing. It's okay to fail. Failure is how we succeed. We do not succeed by, getting on that bike the first time and being able to ride it. We fall down a few times. And failure is necessary in life in order to progress, and to failure that is handled without self-deprecating, without self-criticism, is how we grow. Okay? And failure from a relationship with a narcissist is actually a positive thing. To say I failed at this relationship, if I think back, I think, you know what? That's good. I failed at that, because if I had succeeded at that, I don't know that I could survive very much longer. Literally, I don't know that my body would have held up. I know my heart wouldn't have. I would have had to shut down and close off all of this love I have that flows through me for everybody else in the world. Okay. I would have had to shut it down. I would have had that kind of failure. Is a good failure. To be able to fail at something like that is, so it's shifting your perspective. You see what I'm saying, Belle? And change is hard, and it's scary, and transition is difficult. I think fear of change is one of the biggest reasons people don't leave, that and financial reasons, which is also change, right? Status change, financial change. So working with what about change scares you? How can you start making some change in your life that isn't around the narcissist? So you can see change isn't so scary. Sometimes we just got to jump off into the deep end and swim and do it, even though it's scary. And so what if it's scary? That's the other thing I say. So what? It's okay. It's going to be scary. We're all scared, and we all, you can totally do it when you're ready. That's what I mean. And scary or not. But looking at this childhood trauma stuff is important, because you can totally see what's holding you there, right? And I think that failure piece is big. It's not your failure. And if it is a failure in the sense that the relationship failed, it's not your failure. You did not let anyone down. You were trying to maintain a toxic relationship with someone. Which means you're putting in all your effort. You're the one succeeding, right? Because you're trying and trying. The failure is in the fact that you're with someone that has no accountability or empathy. Not your failure. Okay? The relationship itself may be a failure, but it's not your failure. It's another thing. Anyway, gonna keep going. All right. Just like any addiction. No. I'm gonna have to get up and move them somewhere. Oswald, honey, not your turn. It's totally not. As it is. All right. Middle of the day, not a good idea. Okay. Hi. Mo Cowboy, you saying, hello, how are you? You're saying it's like an addiction. I use cigarette smoking as an analogy. I cannot smoke one cigarette and stop. The narcissist knows this, thus the Hoover, or getting me to take the first drag. Yes, indeed, because it is addiction. It is an addictive process that the trauma bonding creates. So, yep. You were addicted and you had to accept that, thus no contact. Acceptance is huge. Not only do you have to accept, as Mo Cowboy is stating, that you are addicted to this cycle, you're addicted to the feelings of being with the narcissist, you're addicted to the whole process, to everything, because that is what trauma bonding is like, and it's what it is. But you also have to accept that they are who they are, and they're not going to change. And that's a big thing too. Understanding that they are not going to change. Being afraid of change. Oh, that's an interesting, I had never thought of that. Being afraid of change. And then think about that. Just think about, okay, I'm afraid of change. And knowing that somebody's never going to change means that it's more comfortable to be in a situation that is a known bad than to step off into an unknown world. But the thing is, your life can never get better with that known bad. It will stay the same because there is no change, right? Or get worse because it can, sort of deteriorate. Anyway, yeah. 7 weeks past no contact. Is it normal to be second guessing my decision to get out? It is so normal to be second guessing your decision to get out all the time. We're thinking, feeling, empathic people. We're always questioning ourselves. Yes, it's totally normal. It's normal because we get to where we forget the abuse. So having a list of the abuse that you went through can help you. Talking about the abuses can help you. Accepting that they are who they are, like I'm saying, that is, if you look in a tank with a shark, don't expect it to be a goldfish type of thing. It is what it is. A narcissist is a person who has no empathy, who has no ability to have accountability, and who is a manipulative person within relationships. And it's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for anyone. It's toxic. So accepting that is the reality, regardless of all the good stuff. Remembering that the good stuff is actually bad because the good stuff is often a lure to keep you there. It's just a mood. Sometimes they're just in a good mood and they're fun to be around. Simple as that. Some narcissists are a blast to be around until they start abusing you, right? And all that is the mask they put on when they're in a good mood. So it's not like the good is actual good, where it's coming from a place of their heart and an intention of sharing a good exchange with another person because they don't care about the other person. So yeah, totally normal to have that. And those are some tips. Okay. Protection on my life. Yep. For my life. Protection for my life. Yeah, exactly. Jack, what are you saying here? I think we've been putting others' feelings before our own. You think? I think a little bit, right? And I think it's part of our overall healing to be able to put us first, despite how they may feel about it. And that goes back to the question that the person was asking in the beginning about, or that this whole thing was based on, right? About how they're concerned about hurting the feelings of the other person by going no contact, and that it's cruel. You do have to put yourself first. You have to minimally at the beginning put yourself on equal playing ground with everybody else in the world. Whether it's first, second, third, whatever. I mean, there's sometimes you got kids and whatnot. You sometimes have to put them a little ahead. You have to juggle life, but you have to be way up there on your list of priorities. And we are so far, we're at the bottom of the list. We don't even make the list half the time. There is no us on the list. It's only other people and what we do for other people. So absolutely, you have to put yourself way up there first if you can, for a while at least. And you have to realize that there is no way to be truly giving to other people if you're depleted. And when you're with a narcissist, you're completely depleted. So if what you enjoy about yourself is your giving nature, then understand it's important to put yourself way up there too and give to yourself. Okay. Who let the dogs out? Whoop, I know, naughties. Okay. Patrice, what am I missing? Did I miss something you said? Did I? Sorry if I did. Okie doke. I think I didn't. Okay. Reading. Let's see. I also had to go no contact, says Mo Cowboy, to keep from hurting me by being sucked back into the abusive relationship that was killing me. Right. Oh, that's right. A protection for my life. I already read that. What am I doing? Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay. A little lost. Tracking is not happening right now. Okay. As far as social media, this and our private site, the only social media I participate in. I left Twitter in 2017. Best thing I ever did. Would much rather read a book or write an old-fashioned letter. Isn't that so much better? Hi, Michael John. They will never change or accept responsibility for their actions. They certainly will not. They can't. They can't because they can't. Everything is buried behind their ego, and they don't have the empathy that shows them how they affect other people. Not really. Okay. All right. Any other no contact questions or thoughts you have? I'm going to keep looking here. Another thing with no contact that people struggle with is feeling like, well, and being taught and really taught or programmed, depending on your childhood, that you need to be fair and forgiving and accepting of other people and being reasonable with other people, right? And that comes back to understanding that the narcissist can't change. So to be fair, forgiving, and accepting of a narcissist is to accept them for who they are, not to keep giving them more and more chances at destroying you. It's to accept someone right in front of you for exactly who they are and see that that is not good for your life. Or is it good for your life? No, probably not, right? So, yeah, that's what I got with no contact this moment. What other questions do people come up with when they're afraid of going no contact, or they are going no contact, or what do you struggle with the no contact? Comment is, no contact protects you. Hi, Erica. Especially when you have a kid with the narcissist. Beware of reactive abuse. That is true. So no contact and also, let's talk about how to get them out of our heads. It's what Erica is saying there is important, especially if it's low contact or no contact and only so minimal that it is, as no as it can get, right? Getting them out of your head is, in a sense, learning how to effectively, it's like gray rocking, but you don't want to gray rock yourself because you don't want to pretend that you don't have feelings. So it's accepting what is the truth. When they're in your head and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to contact them. I miss them so much. I just want the high E-Rock freedom. I just want the contact. I just miss the way they did this. I miss that part of my life. Understand what it is you're actually missing. You're missing intimacy, connection, closeness with another human being. You're not missing the narcissist. They are good at giving that when they give it because they're love bombing you. So I think looking at what it is when you are in those moments of what you're needing in your life, and then finding a way to give it to yourself through nurturing yourself. Self-care always comes up on every stream, doesn't it? Every day I say that word, I think. But understanding how to take care of yourself, what you need, this can help with change too, Belle. If you can learn how to nurture yourself and how to take care of your needs, then the change is a lot easier. It still hurts. It's still hard. It's still difficult. I'm not going to tell you it's easy because it's usually not. But if once you have a handle on how to take care of yourself, then you have tools to move through those changes, and you have tools for what to do when you are in those moments where you want to contact them, or you feel like you are, how did Erica word it? Where you feel like you're going into reactive abuse if they do contact you, and it's nasty contact, right? So what are you saying here? Patrice says, at first I struggled with the smear campaign, and now it's definitely getting her out of my head. It's a very real thing. It really is, because it's like once it's quiet, it starts to make noise. Isn't that true? I mean, it's like as soon as it's quiet and it's calm and they're gone, there's this calm part. Maybe there's a smear campaign, maybe there's not. But as soon as it's calm and quiet, it's like then you can finally hear everything that your head's that's been going on, all the stuff we've had to shove back. So it is important to process what you're feeling. And sometimes when we feel those feelings, when you're laying there at night and you can't sleep and you're thinking of the narcissist, or you're thinking of all you miss in the relationship and you want to reach out to them, or you're having a bad day and you want to reach out to the narcissist because you know that would give you relief momentarily. It would probably last about 30 seconds, but it would give you that relief because what we're used to is the love bomb and the devalue cycle with them, which means we're used to a cycle when we feel bad, turning to them for the relief, because we're used to them being the ones that make us feel bad and the ones that make us feel better. They are the poison and the antidote. Okay, that's what a narcissist becomes. That's their whole tool for having people care about them, is to become the poison and the antidote at the same time. So because of that, our brains and our bodies and our hearts and everything is used to, when I'm having a bad day and I feel crappy, I need somebody to pick me up, I want to turn to them. A lot of us do anyway. So sometimes it's important, though, just to feel that bad feeling and realize you're okay, and let yourself actually process the feeling that you're having in the moment instead of trying to make it go away with a toxic person. And then apply a bunch of self-care and nurturing. And that is I've done at least 5 videos recently on self-care, so you can go back and watch those. But so many ideas for that. And we'll keep going here with this instead. For those of you who have gone no contact with a partner companion, what is the hardest part? What was the best result? Hardest part, I'll tell you what I think. The hardest part was the change. The hardest part was for me letting go and allowing the feelings of abandonment to consume me. It consumed me, allowing it to completely almost take me down. But the self-care, having a support system, having a therapist, having a coach, having somebody by your side to help you understand what you're feeling is normal, help you understand this is totally temporary, and that you need to feel what you're feeling so that you can move through it. Because it's all our old stuff. Like you said, the old stuff's what's your catch, right? It's your childhood stuff. It's not the narcissist. It's you're reliving your pain, right? And so that's the hard part. Okay. The best part is the freedom. Untold freedom. And it starts on day 1. I have the freedom to cry my eyes out, and no one's going to sit and stare at me with those glassy, cold snake eyes, right? I have the freedom to lay in bed all day long if I want. I have the freedom to not cook a meal ever again for that person. I have the freedom, going through your checklist of freedoms, that's the best part. And that part grows exponentially, and it grows rapidly. And if you get in, it can, if you're doing what you can with the self-care and you do have some support, it can really, you have this contrast you live with for a while. Okay. You have the hurt and the pain, and then you have the freedom, and they can coexist at the same time. You can have both, and you will have both. So it's a matter of balancing and trying to filter your energy toward positive, which is the freedom, and sort of release and let go of the pain. Does that make sense? And working through the childhood stuff, like you may want a therapist for that, or find some, help with shifting beliefs and whatnot. Okay. Psychopath Free is a great book. I think it's probably what saved me too. That, Angie's videos, stuff like that, Okay. Where am I missing? Need one of those Men in Black memory erasers. Except if we had those, we'd repeat it. That's the only problem. Like if we could totally forget, that'd be awesome. But then the chance of repeating it would be high, because statistically there are a lot of narcissistic people out there, whether or not they have NPD, don't know, don't care. Toxic is toxic. So when people behave poorly in relationship with another person, there's a lot of those out there. So we kind of need to learn and feel this so we don't go through it again. The gaslit children, they want us to just get along with their other parent. Oh yeah. The inner critic thing is a beast. She trained me well and doesn't have to be in the picture for me to continue her abuse if I'm not mindful. Indeed. And you're working through it, and you will get there. That gets better. It does. As you keep understanding these beliefs, and you keep understanding that this programming that she put in there and the beliefs that she put in there can be reworked through practice, through visualizations, through talking, through, it's a daily thing where you practice it, and you do have to be mindful, and you do have to take way better care of yourself than you have ever taken in your life emotionally. but they can be, you can retrain your own mind. And yes, it'll still crop up. You'll still hear it, but it's not as, you can put it in the background rather than the forefront. Does that make sense? I'm still gray rocking, but in my case, it's my narcissistic parents. Went no contact with one narc ex. Only in hindsight do I realize the insanity. Like, what, WTF? Yep, it's true. And Angela's saying financial control is a freedom. I don't know what we're saying, if that's a freedom or the worst part. That could be either way, right? Let's see. I'm surprised myself today imagining what it would be like to have a mother. Yeah, you get to become that for yourself, Patrice. You get to reparent. We get to reparent. We get to re-relationship. We get to, we have to reprogram our minds to see what healthy love is and what healthy exchange is through treating ourselves that way and through only allowing things in that are not toxic to us. And that is why no contact is important too. You need to have the experience of care for yourself to see how bad it was. The contrast helps. If you have people in your life that treat you well and you have people in your life who are narcissistic, there's a totally different way that it feels to be around those people. And that contrast can help, but we believe so much that this, I don't know, we need to understand that the narcissist is what they are, and that's not going to change. And going no contact with them is not cruel and unusual. It is self-preservation and necessary. Okay. And it's necessary to break trauma bonding. So let's see. Missy, okay, what are we doing here? What am I missing? Who's the narcissist? Wait, the answer to the smear campaign is who's talking to a psychologist and healing solo and who's onto another victim. Right. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm like reading now. Can't talk at the same time. Okay, Belle is asking me something. When I described my experience, I can see that would almost be identical to what I would go through. I love remembering what it was like to be alone and just be me. Uh-huh. Yeah, and you know what happens? You come out. You come out of your little shell that they have you in. They walk on eggshells and you build a wall of shells around. You put yourself in we become less of ourself through abuse. I mean, any relationship takes its toll on self, right? Unless you're super strong in self and you have a very independent relationship with someone. But any enmeshed relationship, any relationship that has that toxic codependency going on, which narcissists require, takes so much of a person's self. So yeah, the freedom and what you discover and letting yourself just be you is the amazing part. And it is so much better. It starts to override the pain. It takes a while. And the change is difficult. It's awkward. You don't know who you are. You don't know what to think. You don't know what you like. It's awkward. It's uncomfortable, but you build on it, right? Okay. The hardest part for me, says Mo Cowboy, wanting things to be better, perfect immediately. Oh yeah, patience. It takes time to heal from the damage of trauma. Jackson McKenzie's book, Whole Again, talks about this. It really does. Oh, I need to read that one. With all he was doing, it took him 5 years to recover. That's to be kind, patient, and gentle with myself as I heal. It's right. It does. It takes a long time. It's layers and layers. And here's the thing with healing, okay? It's not one thing. You don't just like do this thing and do this self-care, do this whatever, and suddenly you're better. There's layers and layers and layers. And we go out into life, we experience life, we have a trigger, and then we got to learn to respond to that rather than react to it from our trauma. And we need to have these experiences in life that are risky in order to put ourselves up against what it is that we are healing from, right? And then thus keep healing. It's not like you go out there and suddenly the world is shiny. No, the world's still the world. So it's layers and it takes time, but it's not always so dark. Okay. We're all still healing still. That's why we're evolving. That we don't just end at recovery, right? We keep evolving. Okay. The financial control, says Angela, has been a nightmare. So I have to report my spending like a kid with an allowance. Oh my gosh, that freedom will be great. Okay. E-Rock Freedom says, I'm also being financially controlled. I'm done. The cognitive dissonance is breaking. It's bittersweet in some way. It's weird feeling, but I do know it's a good thing. Okay, good. Yeah, it is. When the cognitive dissonance starts to break and you start to see the truth, yeah, unpleasant, but also enlightening, right? It's horrible. And it's also like, oh my gosh, there it is. That's what I couldn't see. Yeah. All right. Hi, Nick. To understand great peace, we must go through great pain. Sometimes, if we're in great pain, we can seek peace. That's for sure. And then it's a great peace. I mean, I'm still in it, but I have the feeling of being done. I get you. Yeah, good. And that's where you get, so that you can get the resolve to get out in a way that is not running away, coming back. You know what I mean? A way that sticks. The hard part was to start becoming less nice, less open, and friendly. It felt wrong, doesn't it? And that's what I think what the person was asking in the beginning about no contact, feeling wrong because it's like you have to become a different person. You have to become this closed, cold, cut off person. When they say we go crazy at the end, it must look like it. That's all I can say. It really must look like it, because we go from doting, caring, people pleasing, I love you like crazy people, to completely cold and shut off, distant, and telling them how it is without any regard for what their feelings are, because we have to, right? There isn't a loving, kind, caring ending with a narcissist. That's called more of the same cycle. That'll just keep you there forever. It's Groundhog's Day, right? If you maintain loving, connected communication with them, it doesn't work. So it is really hard what you're saying to go that way. It does feel wrong, but now I'm finding that it's okay. And actually, I am still friendly. I'm still friendly. I'm becoming more genuine. Good. Right. You can still, it's just finding your own way to do it, right? Okay. All right. Anybody else have a no contact? I'm going to end in a few seconds here, or a few minutes, whatever, unless there's a question or anything, or anything else that you want to talk about, any questions or anything that you want me to speak to, any topics for other days, anything like that, go ahead and put them in there and I will read it. So that's what I got for no contact, guys. It's painful. It's hard. It's important. It's for you. It's your way to begin breaking trauma bonds. It's almost impossible. Well, I don't want to say that. It is incredibly difficult to break trauma bonds while maintaining contact. People who go low contact it's very hard. Okay, it's possible, but it's very hard. It requires a lot of gray rocking when you have to stay in contact. So that's a different topic. But when you are no contact, you have the opportunity to work on breaking those trauma bonds. So understand that it is for you. It's important. It also limits the hoovering. The hooverings, we want the hoovering, we don't want the hoovering. You know what I mean? So it's difficult stuff. Okay. Okay, we're talking. Anything, you guys, before I end here, and I'll let you guys continue chat for a little bit. Otherwise, I think we're good. Okay, no contact. There it is. Anything else? We can do another one. I will end right now. Thank you for being here, and I wish you all well. Those of you who are considering this for your future, it's okay. We got your back. All right, you have support, and there is light on the other side of the narcissist. Okay, there's a lot of light. In fact, that's where the light exists. There is no light within a relationship with a narcissistic person. They are a toxic black hole that's sucking all your light into it. So understand that the no contact is a barrier to that, so that you can have freedom from that dark, emotionally vampiric, energy-sucking black hole of the narcissist, okay? It's protection. All right, you're welcome. If you have not hit subscribe if you enjoy this. Hit the thumbs up so I know which topics you guys like. And if you would like notification of these live streams to be texted to you 10 minutes before approximately I go live, text me at 33222 and put the word Lise Live, LISE, and I will send that message only right before I go on. And that is it. And you guys enjoy yourself. You have a good day. I will see you tomorrow. If you have any topics you want for tomorrow, put them in there. It makes it easier. Make my job easier, right? No, really. If you have anything that you think somebody else might need to hear, put it in there. It gives me ideas, and then I will be back at some time tomorrow morning. So I will see you later. Take care, you guys. Bye-bye.